front of Amstel, this is the UX card. The UX card is a tool we developed for helping design teams to plan user experience projects. Well, when you enter the user experience field, you'll soon notice that there are plenty of different methods and deliverables that are required for executing those projects. Okay, how do you navigate through all of those different kind of methods? Oh, there is some well-known database that you can use on the web. There is also some other set of cards that you can use for choosing them, but this set of cards are different because they can show the different perspectives over a single project, and also to help people collaborate and negotiate what will be their own definitions for that project, instead of just imposing a different process that came out of a different context to those teams. So the team developed their own vision of what will be the process of user experience. Okay, this method card is composed by basically 3 different cards. You have the method card, that's something well known and used by other stack of cards, but you have also, aside from the method cards, you have the deliverable cards. Then with these deliverable cards you can show up the outcomes of the method cards. Okay? And also, because there is the concern about conditions for the projects, there is also the resource cards. Then you can show up what will be required for executing those methods or for delivering those documents. For instance, if you need extra money, then you can use the financial card. Or if you need an extra time scale, then you need the time card. So, with these different 3 cards that you can use by putting on the table, the team can show their concerns about the project management, about the user experience coherence of practical feasibility, and also about the practical requirements for the development team, because you can show up deliverables, methods, and resources. And I will show you an example for explaining better. These are the 3 different card types we showed before, but there's a 4th one that's my favorite, the blank card. The blank card can be used for including new deliverables or new methods or new resources that we didn't thought about on doing this card set. And this makes the card set very flexible and adaptable to your own specific needs. But you can also extend the card set to whatever you need. For instance, you can define new card types that was not thought about by our team. So this could be a goal card, and you can define goals before you start planning a project, like increasing customer satisfaction. And this is very interesting for having clear at the table what will be the project goal. So everyone is concerned about the same goal, and you can put at the end of your process as a goal to be achieved. Well, we think that these different card types could be separate among the team. If you have enough people for managing each card type, we could suggest, for instance, the developers of the project could manage the deliverable cards. The user experience specialists could manage the method cards. The project manager can manage, of course, the resource cards. And this is special for the client, because the client is one who has the most power for deciding among the project, and they must have the flexibility to show their concerns. So, and if you use as a goal a card like we did here, this will be the best fit for a client to define. Well, let's show how that works. Well, you start a project, we have a clear goal, and you pick a new method for user research. For instance, defining user stories. User stories is a method that has an input and an output. The input for user stories is the definition of user goals, and the outcome of that is the user requirements. Well, but how could you know the user goals? Well, this is something that could be done by using another method like personas. Personas, you first study their own person habits and behavior, and you can generate some characters that can represent the users. And these characters can have some goals, and these goals can be used for drawing user stories. So we have here a sequence of two methods that is gonna be executed in a row. But if you are a project manager and you are very concerned about the conditions and resources for implementing this sequence, you can right now pick a time card, and you can introduce that time card here on personas to show up that this will take some time, because we need to define personas. Not easy, so you show up that be aware to all of the members of the teams that personas gonna take some time. You can also put in the middle of those two cards if you really want to emphasize, you know, that there will be some time lag here because you can't start doing user stories after some time that you develop personas and you need to validate them. Well, whatever. You can use in different ways those resource cards. You can pick some money cards and put here on user stories. If you're gonna have some users that will participate or validate those user stories, then you need to plan ahead that you're gonna spend some money for giving them some gifts. And after you have a sequence of methods, you can specify deliverables. For instance, you can generate a mood board. After you have some personas, this will be very interesting, using personas and mood boards for each persona, and this will help generate the user stories that will give very tangible requirements for developing, for instance, a service blueprint. You can develop a service blueprint after you have the user stories, and you can see that the deliverable cards are used in horizontal fashion and the method card are used on a vertical fashion. This is just for helping you seeing the big picture. When you finish the project, you can easily separate what is a method, what is a documentation, and what are resources. So that's it. This method cards is very flexible. It can be developed in many ways to suit the needs of particular projects that we are gonna be held. So this is something collaboratively. It's important to mention that at the back of each card there is a small description of that method, or for instance the deliverable, that's the same. And there is a small URL here that you can point to a wiki page that will describe that method in very in depth, because it's not possible on that very small space we have in here in the card. And also you have QR code that you can use for instance, use a cell phone. You can quickly access that URL and check the information for helping the people to decide on a very collaborative fashion among the table without going back to their own desktops. So that's it. The UX cards is here and it's presented, and I hope that you find it interesting.